What was the old neighborhood like?
Well, we just lived in a simple house.
Was it a two-story?
No.
Well, the house I remember as a child was a two-story. Was your first childhood home just a one-story home?
Well, let's see, what do I remember?
What was your bedroom like?
We had a furnace in the basement. The basement was just a dirt basement. No fancy floors or...
Creepy,
We had
huh?
a coral. We had a coal furnace. And I remember when I was old enough to get a shovel full of coal
Oh, was
And-
that your job?
and get it into the furnace in the morning. I remember vividly having the measles there.
What are the measles like?
Well, the measles, you break out your whole body and,
Big bumps?
yeah.
How old were you?
Well, I wasn't... Huh.
What did Uncle John ever have to do? Nothing? He was a
He
free
was a spoiled brat, wasn't he?
Uncle John never did anything, did he?
What?
Uncle John never did anything, did he? Your brother?
John.
He was lazy, right? He never had to do any
He was
work.
a brat.
You think?
I don't remember it a lot.
Well, what do you remember about your neighborhood? Was it fun? Did you have friends you could play with, or?
No, there weren't any kids. And we were right close to the railroad track, so we had a lot of noise.
You could have got out of there at any time. You could have jumped on that train.
There were no kids.
None of
Doesn't
us would
sound like
have existed.
there were no kids.
It was always cloudy and it rained a lot. Did you have a burger joint? Did you go out to eat? No.
We had one cafe in town, but we never all went to
Oh, too much money.
eat any place. We drove over to Mound. There was a lady called Mrs. Utman. Utman. And she cooked and had people come in and eat.
Neat.
And we would go to her house on Sundays and just eat so good. I remember homemade bread, biscuits. But when I was in grade school when I had the measles.
Okay.
Almost died.
All right. So you remember biscuits? What else did Mrs. Ottman make?
Well, Mama had a friend who lived in Mound that was close to, Mrs. Utman lived close to the water. Joe. And Joe drank a lot. And he was drunk one night and he ran over my sandbox.
Okay,
And he had to drive his truck across the garden. And that whole lot was garden.
They didn't have no rules back then, huh? You're out in the middle of nowhere, you can
Drink
drive
a
around
lot
wherever.
and one
Well, he
night
would have spent time in jail.
he
Well,
got
he should
drunk
have.
Yeah.
and drove through.
My sandbox had a colorful striped
Oh.
awning
Oh, it was a very nice.
canopy.
Oh, it was like a gazebo, super nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a spoiled brat, weren't you?
You just ripped right through it. Tanked
Drove
up.
over your sandbox with the.
Canadian Club.
And this area around the sandbox was also
What happened to Joe after that?
well, he was pretty quiet.
All right, well, we're moving on. We ran out of paper on this page. And we're going to go to overall, if you had to sum up your childhood and your neighborhood, what would you say about it?
Well, it was just
Life sucks with no TV, right?
no television.
Did you have a radio?
Uh,
Did you guys have a
I
radio?
don't think I had a radio. I know I didn't have one.
Did you listen to
But-
music?
My mother had one. Wonder what happened to that.
All right, the next question, Mom. What was your favorite holiday as a child, and how did your family celebrate it?
Oh, well, Christmas was wonderful, and we always went to church, and Andy Johnson was Santa Claus.
Oh.
Are you really Swedish or are you Norwegian?
I'm half and half.
Oh. Which side is the which side is the Swedish side?
And Mama and John and I used to do a lot of baking, and
Andy Johnson was Santa Claus?
yep. And the Ladies' Aid bought green and red
The Ladies' Aid bought green and red what?
Sugar?
Oh, I don't know what to call it. You could see through it, I think. Yeah.
Cellophane kind of stuff? Did they put it on the windows or something, or decorate?
No, they made candy bags out of them and filled them with candy.
Oh, cellophane, green and red
And
cellophane.
they passed out candy at church.
How did you get? They make their own candy?
Yeah, good candy.
And then was that Christmas Eve that you would go to church and then go back to the house and eat? Lutefisk? I'll never forget that awful smell walking in Christmas Eve to Grandpa's boiled lutefisk.
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
That was pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Did you open gifts on Christmas Eve? What was your favorite gift?
Well, Carolyn got a job downtown and was going to town to work every day. And she came home with a Shirley Temple doll. That was pretty exciting.
And she
I
named
still
that
have
too?
that poor doll. It's in a wreck.
Yeah. I remember. So Carolyn gave you the baby doll?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was big. Shirley Temple.
Oh, big life-size version.
Well, that was a good size. What else do you remember? We didn't.
Well, when I had the measles, I remember that my dad came home and he had a red jeweled bracelet. And I just loved it. I was sleeping in the dining room then. But we had this great big
Wait, let's hear.
metal,
Let's listen to the anthem.
oh, I don't know what it would be called.
Okay, you ask some of these questions then. Ask her about her dad.
Could we just go back over what we were talking about earlier? We're gonna have to go. Who were some of your favorite? Oh,
Hi.
you said your favorite relatives
Well, we're
were
in the middle
Emily
of
and Arthur
videotaping.
because they made ice cream
Mom,
for you, right?
Telling the story of her life.
Papa built that little house across the lake
Yeah.
from Mama's mother when she came
Yeah, We're
over
video, yeah.
from Sweden.
Well, we're working on it so we can give it to everybody.
Did she read? Okay, what's your favorite
I
memory?
know.
What's your favorite memory of your mom or dad?
No.
We'd go
I'll get
shopping
to that, though.
downtown. Papa would drive them to Maple Plain
Yeah.
and had the Miller's Stone. They had
Oh, how
just
fun.
about
We're watching it, too.
The Millers
Cute.
had
You
everything.
got a hat? Spectator.
All right.
All right. Mom, you were the baby. Your sister was 14 years older. So what was that like? Did she have to babysit you a lot?
Oh, we fought all the time. She wasn't very nice.
How about Uncle John?
Well, we'd get into it every once in a while. But we got along mostly.
How about your mom? Did you fight with your mom? Or were you close to your mom?
Oh, I don't think I ever fought with her. No, we talked a lot and got along a lot.
How about Papa?
Oh, I got along with him.
That's what happens when there's no TV. They talk a lot.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do.
Well, would you say it was a happy relationship or good relationship? relationship?
Well, I don't think it was real close, but it was okay. Well, now where are they going?
Anything else you'd like to say about that? Before you move on to what traits or characteristics do you have that your parents also had? And which side of your family do you most resemble?
Well, I don't know. You decide.
Well, I think you're more like your mother.
Well, I like that.
Look how shiny their fur is and everything. Just
Oh. So you just did whatever you wanted to?
Well, I didn't do anything that was really.
What age did you start smoking cigarettes?
Oh, I remember going in the woods and finding violets.
Yeah.
Maybe, could we do a close-up of her holding the violets? Hold them up like you're smelling them. I'll look and do a close-up of that. Oh, the cute little violets.
Did you ever have a dog or a cat named Violet?
No.
Violet.
Violet. Did you have a car when did you have your first car?
Well, I never did, but I can remember having the car if I wanted it, but I never wanted it to do anything wrong, but I could go to my girlfriend's and I'd go to the movies and
Who were your girlfriends?
well, Beverly Cox was in my class, and we did a lot of things together. And
Was Beverly Cox any relation to Dad's cousin Daryl Cox?
yeah, now I'm trying to figure that out.
And who else was in your class? When was Barbara Howard in your class?
Just about that time.
Who else? Bernice and Irene? All right, Mom. What are one or two things that you didn't tell your parents about? which is a lead into the next question. What was the worst mischief you ever got into when you were younger? You hurt your back again, huh?
I don't know. It's not really hurt. It's just inactive. It's like I wasn't working out. I was sick for like about 3 weeks. And didn't work out. So,
So, Mom, did you get into mischief?
I didn't get into any mischief.
you got the shit beaten out of you, right? If anything happened,
What?
they'd smack you around if you got into trouble. You get whooped.
Did Papa ever spank you?
No.
No.
Never.
No. Well, so you didn't do anything that you didn't tell your parents about. Let's move on to this one. Ooh, what music did you grow up listening to?
I listened to what was popular.
Did you play any musical instruments? Did you have any musical instruments in the house? At your house? A piano? A violin or nothing? Did you?
You always had a piano. Who played the piano?
Well, I played the piano, not very much, but
Did you play the flute or anything?
my grandmother had an organ, one of those you pumped air into, you know, and they wanted me at church to, in the basement, have a little
A class or a demonstration? Huh?
well,
Church wanted it in their basement?
well, they had a class downstairs all set up, and then I would come with the organ and we'd pick a song and sing it.
Oh.
Jeez, look at all those cops. It's like,
Well, can you imagine? I bet the security is really, really, really high. What about later in high school and when you went to college? Did you have any favorite musicians?
Oh,
you went to college too, Ami?
somebody. I went in to college in Iowa.
She went to Cornell.
Really?
Or Grinnell, excuse me.
Grinnell.
Grinnell, yeah.
What'd you do there? English literature?